So maybe WWE messed up with the whole Cody Rhodes not taking it. So I know a lot of people are conflicted at the fact that, or not even conflicted, they hated the ending at Mania, and I don't blame them. Honestly, going in, I felt like Cody should have took it, whether it was telegraphed from a mile away or not. I feel like he should have took it. Like, I feel like they feel that the 1,000 days is more important than ending the story or ending the reign of Roman Reigns at Mania. I just don't see it that way. I feel like, yeah, it would kind of suck if, let's say, they did end Roman's reign as the champion, and you know, they didn't reach 1,000 days. It was like, when are we ever going to do this? It's kind of like one of those things of like, maybe it's the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Or just, you know, just basically just one of those things where it's like, when are we going to get a chance to do this again? You know, like when? You know, when would it make sense for us to have a person have them go 1,000 days? And not just with any old championship, with the main championships. You know, when are we going to have this? And not only is he holding one championship, he's holding 2 of the top championships in WWE right now. So it's kind of like one of those things, like, when is this ever going to happen? When is this ever going to happen? And it's like, I see him on that. I understand it. But it's like, when you're sacrificing one thing, you're sacrificing another thing, because it's like, now, where do you go? I was going to make a video about it. I was kind of slow on it, but I see that they're already kind of going the route of dissension in the bloodline, and like, ever since the Usos lost the championship, they're basically being outcast. They're basically being slowly rejected or looked at funny by the tribal chief and everything else. And it's one of those things where I think like that's where they should go. You know, now that they're keeping the titles on Roman, this is where they should go. And then maybe it get to a point where either one of the twins, Jay or Jimmy, are, you know, just basically feeling a certain type of way about the tribal chief, and the other twin is maybe not feeling that way at first, and then once it starts getting to the nitty gritty, the other twin backs the other twin, and then Solo is maybe caught in between where his loyalty lies with the tribal chief, but then also these are his brothers. Even though they're all blood, these are his brothers. You know, it's like, these are the people that you grew up with in the same house. I don't feel like Jay is going to be able to take the titles off him. I really don't. He already had the chance before. I don't think he's going to be the one to take the titles off of him. Nor do I think that they're going to have it to where it's like, he's going to fight for one of the titles. He's going to win it, and Roman can still keep the other title and everything else. I feel like what they're going to do, that they're going to split the titles, but they're not going to take one title from Roman, and Roman isn't going to put one title on the line against an Uso or just anybody else. But I think what's going to happen is that they're going to break apart from it. And maybe in that match, maybe it's like Jay against Roman or whatever. That's when, like, he calls on Solo. Solo, you know, is about to, like, demolish his brother, but he's, like, thinking about it. And, like, Roman kind of talks smack to him, and then he turns on Roman, and he probably, you know, kind of, like, costs him the match or whatever. I don't know. But I know that during that match, the goal of it is not for Jay to win the title, but essentially for the turn of the tides, I guess you're going to say, where Jay and Jimmy leave the bloodline, and then Solo leaves the bloodline. So all that's left is Roman and the wise man, Paul Heyman. Then from there, he's weakened, because up to this point, he started off with just him and the wise man, and then he slowly got the Usos on board, and then Sikoa came on, and it was like they helped him retain his titles. They helped him complete goals that he wanted to complete. And so without them now, he's weakened. So it's going to be a perfect time for Cody Rhodes to come in and get another shot and do the thing that he couldn't do at WrestleMania. Now, one of the problems that I have with that is that I felt like WrestleMania was the best time to do that, was the best time to take the titles off him, because it's the grand stage, the biggest stage of them all in WWE, and it was like he had a story to tell, he had a story to complete, and everything else. And I felt like that was the perfect time to do it. But since they want to reach to 1,000 days, I don't think that any other rinky-dink pay-per-view event would be the event to do it in. Even SummerSlam. I don't think SummerSlam is the thing to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. It will be a feel-good moment. It will be all of that. But I don't think that is the perfect time to do it. I feel like they just need to go to WrestleMania. They just essentially need to go to WrestleMania next year. And then, I don't know, like, I feel like, and that's why I said that I feel like they made a mistake by not giving it to Cody. Because next year, if Roman keeps it for a whole nother year, let's say they draw out this Bloodline storyline where, you know, the Usos leave and Solo leave or whatever, and they carry it out for months, like another 6-something months. And then, you know, we get to WrestleMania next year. It's like, I don't know how people are going to feel about, you know, Cody and Roman having the last match again, having the main event. And then it's like, will the momentum of Cody still be there around that time next year? And all this factor come into play, because you can still tell a story to keep him, to put him back in play to where it's him and Roman again, but will people be behind him? It's all in what you do with him from now all the way until next year. But I feel like SummerSlam is going to be the place that they may end up doing it. That's why they sent Brock Lesnar in there, and that's why he turned on Cody. And now they're going to have a program for a while. So it's something that happened to take Cody out of the picture, at least for some months. And then they're going to place him back in there. And I feel like it may end up being SummerSlam. But I feel like it should be WrestleMania. But, I mean, they kind of like missed their shot. They really did. The momentum, I feel like for Cody, probably is not going to be as high or as high as it was leading to this year's WrestleMania. It's just not going to be. You had a guy that came in that was super anticipated from last year's WrestleMania, and then he was on a hot streak, and then the last match that he had where he blew his pec and everything else, and he still won the match. He went into the match, everything all crazy looking, and he still went in and did what he was supposed to do, and, you know, went away, came back, and he was hot. He won the Royal Rumble, and people was behind Cody, and he lost. So it's kind of like that flame, that hype, that momentum just kind of like, you know. So it's like, how can you build that back up? How can you get him back to that plateau? Because it's going to be pretty hard unless there is a good plan in play to make it, you know. And if it's not Cody, I don't know who it could be. Maybe Braun Breaker. Maybe they bring him on and, you know, they flesh his character out, and they flesh his momentum out, and, you know, they put him on in a spot to where he's going to be the one to take it from Roman. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, that's why I feel like they kind of messed up by not putting the belts on Cody at WrestleMania. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say this is a video in line of like what they were going to do next with the Bloodline, but I really don't know. I feel like the writing's on the wall. We already know what's going to happen with the Bloodline, what they have in play, and what's going to happen. Is just we're just trying to see how it plays out, if it's going to be something that's as good as what we got last year with Sammy and everything else. Since they lost the component of Sammy, and that's not really a big thing right now. It's like, what do you do next? How do you make the story more interesting? What other layers can you add to it? I'm curious to see, especially with McMahon back on board. I don't know if it's going to be as good as it was before, but I mean, we'll see. But like I said, I feel like they made a mistake by not giving it to Cody. I feel like, if anything, they need to wait to WrestleMania of next year if they're going to put it on Cody. And regarding back to, and I'm going to end this video soon, and regarding back to the fact of separating the title, I feel like they definitely need to separate the title. They need to. But I don't think, like I said, they're going to do it in the sense of like, Jay fights for one title, but then Roman still keeps, he's going to win that title, and then Roman keeps it or whatever. I don't think it may end up being that way. I feel like if Cody wins it at SummerSlam, and that's why I feel like they probably going to do it at SummerSlam. If Cody wins the titles at SummerSlam, what he's going to do probably the very next night, or more likely they have it on Saturday, what he's going to do on Monday, is that he's going to say something to the lines of, he doesn't want to be like Roman. He doesn't want to hold both the titles hostage and everything else. He want to give other people a fight for the chance to go for the championship. And he doesn't want to hold both titles. And plus, he wants to eventually go at a champion and have a champion versus champion match or whatever. So he's going to relinquish the Universal title, since the WWE Championship is the one that he was actually trying to go for. And I feel like that's the best way to separate the titles, rather than them come out and be like, all right, we're going to have to separate the titles and all that stuff. I feel like that's what Cody is going to do. He's going to win both titles, and then that Monday he's going to relinquish one and keep the other. It's getting very stale just having one person at the top and no other top champion. We need that. But all with that said, those are my thoughts on the Cody situation, what they're gonna do with the Bloodline, and just all my thoughts about it. Like if you like, subscribe if you're not, hit the notification bell for more, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Check out the other videos.